to Johannesburg. We are at the Marriott Melrose Arch, the Melrose Arch District. Talk more about that in a minute. Real quick before I forget about the flight and Airlink. Airlink was perfect. 3 flights all on time, bags arrived, online check-in, ticketing, everything was perfect. First time I've ever flown Airlink. They get a thumbs up to Airlink. Look at this beautiful room. Here's our entranceway. I started at the front door. Here is a half bath. Here is our living room. Nice couch. Got some nice water there. TV in the living room. Nice desk. Kitchen table. Credenza. And the bar with cappuccino and so forth. I haven't looked inside the mini bar to see what they have, but they left me a note and they left me a box of treats. The Melrose Arch District is very swanky. It is right there. So this is the living room. Back to where I started, at the front door. And around the corner is the bedroom. There's our luggage. Entering the bedroom. Here's the master bath. Shower. And the bedroom. King bed, TV, view of the city. Lap of luxury. I did not use any points for this stay. I used a free night certificate, a 35,000 point night certificate. And I would have gotten some kind of upgrade, I'm sure, anyway, but I went ahead and used what they call a Suite Night Award for the upgrade to this apartment. They call this a 1-bedroom apartment. They don't call it a suite. And so free night certificate and an upgrade night certificate. We've got a late checkout tomorrow so we can explore Johannesburg, and this is awesome. Getting ready to go to the executive lounge and chow down. Breakfast is included in the morning. This is like awesome. Awesome. There was one problem, though, I want to mention. I arranged not through the hotel directly, but through Marriott's website, inside my reservation for this hotel. I arranged a transfer because I'm uncomfortable, with the security here in Johannesburg and hailing a cab and things like that. So I went ahead and paid extra to make sure I had someone to meet us. He didn't show up. So now I got to go back for a refund, and we had to take a crappy taxi. The wife is not happy about it. Guy had a cracked windshield. The cab stunk. Went through some bad parts of town. Not cool. But anyway, all's well that ends well. We're here, and this is a pretty swanky place. I can't wait to get down the lounge and have some South Africa wine for the last time. Good night. Good morning from Johannesburg. We are on the big red bus, cruising around town. I think we're only going to get off at one place, which is the Apartheid Museum, but this is a good way to just kind of check out the town. We just drove through some beautiful gardens, seen some mansions over in a district called Houghton. And I may go back around later today and I'll get a snippet of Nelson Mandela's old house here in that district. This is the Flame of Democracy. This is the Constitution Square area, Constitution Hill, they also call it. Lots of history here, which I'm not qualified to tell much about, but a lot of the history of South Africa is centered here, and lots of government type buildings around. So we are going to get off at the Apartheid Museum. Looking forward to that. I don't know how much I'll film inside, but I'll check in from there and probably just enjoy the museum, not film too much. But once again, we've been blessed with perfect weather our entire trip here. It's only rained once, and that was in the Kruger Park. It was actually a beautiful, beautiful drive in the rain. So that is it. We are headed towards the Apartheid Museum and cruising all of Johannesburg. We only have 6 hours to do it. So the Big Red Bus is a great way to do it. I've used the Big Red Bus in many, many cities and always works out well.
Plenty of them. Each and every street, you're gonna see
the goats of Soweto.
Yes. On my left hand side, we're having the middle class of Soweto, who were moved forcefully from the city into their towns. These houses, they were offered on 99-year lease. Back in the days, black people were not allowed to own any lands, were not allowed to own any properties. So they rent these houses for 99 years until Mr. Mandela became a president. Then he made sure that the people are staying here. They buy off these houses with a reasonable pricing. Today, I can probably say that these houses, the our family houses, passed down from generations to generations. Which is 100 years, South Africa. Only men were allowed to stay in this township. Only men. No women, no children. Most of the men that are staying here will be coming from the neighboring countries and villages just to try the better living. And most of them will be the man workers working in a city. So they'll normally share the bedroom. So guys,
So welcome to Soweto. We did this at the last minute because the museum was closed, which we didn't know. So we've hopped on this little bus and been through the township of Soweto. Very hard to get content from inside the bus. It's a little bus, but this is an old power plant that is now bungee jumping.
Along the walls. So those are not just passages, but the missing spaces, they resemble the missing information, the untold stories of June 16. And then the different heights of the walls. Some of them are tall, medium and short, symbolizing different ages and different genders of the students. And then we have this mini waterfall here. So the mini waterfall symbolizes the cheers of all the parents, the families, what they died in sleep. The water flowing that direction, symbolizing the cleansing of the blood that was shared by the ones who lost their lives on that day. And then we also have these small stones here on the grass. So small stones, they symbolize the only form of weapon that the students had to fight against the gun. So that was a peaceful march. So they never carried any weapons, but then they were using stones when shots were fired against them. And then we also have a line over there. You can spot the line with some of the flowers. So the line there in the middle is called the confrontation line or the firing line. So this line is thrown down by the police on the day of the march when they confronted the students there on the corner. So they told them that if anyone passes the line, they have the license to shoot to kill. So starting from the entrance of the visa, the line goes all the way. So this line here joins us straight to Vezo. Then his real name, it's Holy Sasa. Can you try to say that, guys? Holy Sasa. Can you try to say that? Let's try to say Rolex. Let's say Rolex. Rolex. Let's say now Holy. Holy. Now let's say Holy Sasa. Holy Sasa. There we go. Like I've said, whenever they say Holy Sasa, it simply means pulling a bunch of tree or a troublemaker.
So Mr. Nelson Mandela, when he was 9 years old, his father passed. Then he was forced to be an advisor to a king. In 1931, Mr. Nelson Mandela went to Fort Hare University to study law because he wanted to be the first well-educated person in his family. But then, according to the things in life, Mr. Nelson Mandela could not complete his studies. Due to it, he joined the student protest and was expelled from school. Then was forced to go back where he was born, which is Kunu. So when he got to Kunu, he found out the king was very angry at him. Told him either he goes back to school or else you arrange wives for him. So Mr. Nelson Mandela could not want all those things. 1941, Mr. Nelson Mandela ran away from his home. He came here to Johannesburg, not to his house at Alexandria. Rented a Peckham house and he became a secretary. But while being a security guard, he went back to complete his studies through University of South Africa and Catering University.
That's awesome.
So Janice.
Based on peace. In 1995, he was the head of Truth Reconciliation Commission. In 62, he went to King's College. That's where he was ordained to be a bishop. Desmond Tutu died on 26 December 2021. The cause of death was a cancer. He was 90 years old.
Downtown Joburg. Downtown Joburg. Yeah, they're excited to see us. Practice law. War Memorial. All right, well, we have just arrived back from our hop-on, hop-off bus, which I'll talk about here in a minute, but just wanted to show you this little district. This is the Melrose Arch district where our hotel's located. And I'm not going to go too far down here, but this is kind of like the Rodeo Drive of Joburg, I would say. Really upscale, lots of nice shops. Very beautiful. I don't know how long it's been here, but everything looks brand new. Really, really nice. And plenty of nice places to eat. Had we not been here for just one day and had the lounge, we might have found some nice places to eat. But it's super nice. And it goes down that way. Got all kinds of car dealerships and things like that. And it goes down that way, and then there is the Marriott Hotel. So let me real quick just wrap a bow around the tour in Johannesburg and the hotel. So we're getting ready to head to the airport here shortly for our 17-hour flight to Atlanta. And so, you know, we didn't have a lot of time to experience Joburg. We did the hop on, hop off, and I know I did not get good footage. You know, I got great footage in Cape Town. I got great footage in Kruger, but here I didn't. So we were on the bus for 6 hours, including 2 hours on a Soweto tour. We saw a lot, very interesting, but you know, the Soweto tour was in a little minivan. And we made a couple stops, so I did what I could, but I know I didn't get real good footage. But I'll tell you, it was kind of nice to get the perspective of driving around Johannesburg. Really nice, beautiful. The commentary on the bus, on the, on the headsets was super interesting. I'm glad I got to do it. Initially, we were just going to stay over by the airport, and we weren't going to get to see much in town, so. I had 6 hours in Johannesburg, and it's better than nothing. And I have a fairly good idea what the city's all about now. It's really beautiful. It's really nice. Soweto was cool. Obviously, interesting seeing how the people live there. There's like 3 levels of sort of housing, which he explained to us, and it's really interesting. So, short time in Johannesburg, but a nice day. And so the hotel, I showed you what the room looked like. It's off the charts. It's called an apartment, and it is an apartment. Went to the Marriott Lounge, the M Club, last night for dinner. They call it happy hour, but easily dinner. Had some great South African wine, of course. Had some great food. It was awesome. This morning, went into the lounge to grab a coffee, and the breakfast spread looked really nice, but they allowed us to go to the restaurant, and the buffet there was just really amazing. So this hotel is really nice, really nice. 10 out of 10. It's great. Great hotel. By the way, there's also right across the street, in fact, it's where I'm sitting right now, there's a Protea hotel, which is one of the Marriott brands. It was actually a lower point redemption, so that's an option for you Marriott folks out there. I didn't cash any points. I used a free night certificate, so I went ahead and took the Marriott. But if I was staying on points, I probably would have selected the Protea. It was less points. Can't remember how many, but that's it. Our trip is over, except for the 17-hour flight home. So I will check in from the airport. I don't know what lounge they're going to tell us to go to. I know I want to go to the Virgin Lounge, but there's a couple different options for SkyTeam people. So Virgin Lounge looks the best, but we'll see what they say when we check in. See you at the airport. All right, good evening. Good evening from Johannesburg OR Tambo International Airport. We've arrived here for our flight. We are at the lounge, which I will talk about here in a minute. It took about an hour with traffic to get here from Melrose Arch, so traffic was quite bad, but we made it in one piece in a nice shuttle arranged by the hotel and checked in real quick. And we're directed here to the Slow Lounge, SLOW. And I was disappointed because I thought I'd be going to the Virgin Lounge. I had looked at their menu and was really looking forward to that. I love Virgin, love them. She said, oh no, we use the Slow Lounge. So, she said, you can order off the menu. It's really good. It's much bigger. Okay. We get here, it's kind of a dump. But having said that, it's the food was really nice. I had a nice plate of food, some nice cheese, and I've got some Sauvignon Blanc. So if I entered this lounge with Priority Pass, if I had a coach flight and I was doing just Priority Pass, I'd be fine with this. But for a 17-hour international flight where they charge, $10,000 for a seat, this does not cut the mustard. This is not an appropriate business class international lounge. I'm sorry. It's fine as a lounge. Anyway, had the food, asked my wife if she wanted to run down to Virgin and see if they'll let us in. She didn't want to move. So we're good. It's all good. 17 hours over to Atlanta. I will check in from the airplane. 3-hour layover in Atlanta and 30-minute flight home to Knoxville. So let me wrap a bow around South Africa. We went to Cape Town, we went to Kruger Park, and then just one day in Johannesburg. Everything was great. Cape Town was awesome. The scenery is just amazing. We did not go out at night. We didn't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe that's just my own paranoia, but I thought that was the best thing to do. We found a nice restaurant right across the street from our hotel. And it was quite good and reasonably priced. Cape Town was awesome. Kruger Park was great. The hotel, the resort, the Leopard Sands Lodge was great. Our tour guide was awesome. And then we had only just one day here in Johannesburg and did the hop on, hop off bus, just looked around town a little bit. And it was quite nice, quite nice. So I really enjoyed the people here. I did not meet anybody there was an issue at all. Everybody we dealt with was quite kind and efficient and nice. They have a very warm culture. And, I'm dealing with service people though, hotel, airlines, stuff like that. Everybody was awesome. Everybody was professional. And I know they have a lot of problems here with, unemployment, crime, infrastructure problems. They have a lot of problems here. But I never felt threatened or anything like that. But I managed my situation to make sure that that did not happen. Also flew Airlink. Airlink was great. No issues at all. I can highly recommend them. And overall, it was a great trip. The food here is amazing. The prices are reasonable. I've spent a lot of time in Asia over the last couple of years, and it's really cheap there. And so South Africa is nothing like that. It's way more than that, but it's still cheaper than at home in the US. So prices are reasonable, food is excellent, and really, if you just stay, if you just stay in the tourist areas, in the safe areas, you will not have a problem in South Africa. It is awesome, it is beautiful, and it's a once in a lifetime bucket list trip. So signing off until I get on the airplane. Thanks for coming along. All right, there is the meal. Got some ribs, soup, shrimp. The menu said salmon, which I don't like, and the menu's wrong. So the good news is I get some shrimp, salad, bread. Looks pretty darn good. Time to dig in and then try to get some sleep. Got a little ice cream sundae for dessert. Little Diet Coke, and off to bed. All right, we are 8 hours into our 16-hour flight. I just woke up, had a nice, I'd say 5 hours of sleep, and it's time for the snack. It's a little charcuterie plate with fruit, accompanied by a Coke Zero. It's pretty good. Small, but good. 8 hours till Hotlanta. All right, good morning. 1 hour and 27 minutes from Hotlanta. And it's breakfast time. Got omelet, sausage, I think that's a potato cake, fruit, croissant, and coffee. Interestingly enough, it's not what the menu said. It said frittata with bacon. Instead, it's an omelet with sausage. First world problems, right? All right, see you in Hotlanta. All right, we have made it to Hotlanta. Have a couple hours before our 30-minute flight home to Knoxville, so I thought I would go ahead and wrap a bow around this trip. Before I left Johannesburg, I put a bow around South Africa, so really all I'm going to talk about here is the flight home. By the way, we're hanging out in the Delta Sky Club in Terminal F, which you can see right there, but it's so crowded I didn't want to make my video in there, so I went ahead and stepped out here into the food court. Arrived in Atlanta 15 minutes late after leaving Johannesburg, an hour late with zero explanation, zero. But because of tailwinds, we were only a few minutes late here. Made it through immigration, customs. Our bag came up quick, and security, I mean, like 20 minutes maybe. It was super quick here in Terminal F. I think Terminal F may be quicker than Terminal E here in Atlanta. But that all worked out well. And so yeah, our trip has come to an end. It's been an awesome trip. The only thing I want to wrap a bow around is the flight home. The flight was 16 hours. It was a little bit shorter because of tailwinds, and I had no issues. Had 3 meals, got about 8 hours of sleep. Seats comfortable. You know, it's a Delta suite. It's got the door. My door worked better than it did on the way over. Some issues with the video. The seat worked great. So hard product wise, you know, it's a good product. Now, having said that, you know, that's from Atlanta to Cape Town, Johannesburg, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. That's where you get that good product. If you're going to Europe, you may get a good product, you may get a crappy product. It's kind of luck of the draw. Delta still has some really substandard hard products on some of the aircraft. But this was a really good hard product. And that's more important. But let's talk about the soft product. The soft product, you know, I commented on the lounge before we left. It was an embarrassment, you know, for Delta to charge $10,000 to sit in business class and put you in a crappy lounge like that. I mean, there's just no excuse for it. And then you get on the airplane, they basically throw your meal at you on one tray, tiny tray, by the way. You can't even maneuver your meal. The food was fine. But you know, back in the day, they give you a choice of rolls. You know, it would be warm. Not now. They give you a shitty roll, not even heated, no choice. The food was okay, not great. And then I decided to order an ice cream sundae, which I normally never do. It was so rock hard. I could have sat there for 3 hours and it wouldn't have been edible. The whole cabin was ordering and sending it back. Do you think they would offer something else? No. This crew put the bare minimum effort in. The little snack mid-flight, the charcuterie, it was okay. It was about 3 bites of food, but it was okay. And then the breakfast was okay. It wasn't what was on the menu, but it was okay. And so yeah, good hard product. Delta's putting zero effort into the soft product. The service, the food, I mean, none of it is good. By the way, you know, I watched 3 movies. The movies all work great, but I couldn't get any TV series. I couldn't get any music, any of that. You know, it's just an embarrassment that Delta brags about this product, and it's just not up to stuff. Oh, and the flight attendant passed off Prosecco to me as Taittinger champagne. She didn't even know that Delta had Taittinger now. What an embarrassment. Anyway, hard product's more important. I got a great night's sleep. Cruised into the Sky Club, took a shower just like that. There was no line. I feel like $1,000,000. And I'm just gonna have some lunch in the Sky Club and fly home for 30 minutes to Knoxville. So thank you for joining me on this whirlwind bucket list trip. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up, like, most of all, please subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you on the next trip. In the meantime, I've got some great content from previous trips. I've got a cruise, a California drive. I've got, the cruise was the Mediterranean, by the way. I've got Vietnam, I've got Cambodia, I've got Korea, I've got India, and I think I'm forgetting a few because I've been all over the world in the last couple of years. So please check out that content and join us for our next trip to New Zealand coming up shortly. Thank you for visiting Dave's Bucket, and safe travels.